Yesterday, we discussed about the exceptions, predefined exceptions. Okay. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, sir.
So out of that, what we discussed, no data found and value underscore error, already we discussed. Okay. Too many rows, what is the situation it will come? That is also explained. We'll see practically that one. Even dupe value on index also explained. That is also we'll do it. Actually, invalid cursor. Invalid cursor. Okay, when it will exception happen, invalid cursor, when user tries to fetch rows without opening the cursor. Okay. What is mandatory? Suppose if you are declaring the cursor, explicit cursor actually we have to use a open, right? Open the cursor, fetch, close, these three mandatory. So whenever we are doing without opening, trying to fetch the cursor, okay? Without opening the cursor, if we are fetching the, trying to fetch it, then we will get it the invalid cursor. And another scenario also, suppose you created a cursor with one name, but while opening the cursor, you gave another name. Means it can be typing mistake or the typo or something else. Okay, whatever the reason, instead of which is the cursor you define, instead of that one, you open the another cursor. Okay, but that is not defined. Those type of scenarios also it will come invalid cursor. We'll see that one also. Cursor, one actually cursor open, okay, if it's but not closed. Again, you are trying to open the cursor one more time. So at the time also, without closing the cursor, if you are trying to open another cursor, in that scenario, you will get cursor already open. Okay. Without closing, we cannot open a cursor again. So that is the reason. Cursor, open cursor is given. After that also, without closing that, again you are trying to open the cursor, it will give the cursor already open. This is actually storage error, system exception out of memory. Whenever it is going, it will come sometimes. So you will see occasionally this exception, but that is not our error. That is system exception. This is already extended, I told, right? It is like an infinite loop we are giving, right? Infinite loop. We haven't waited and we haven't, we given the infinite loop, but it got stuck, we closed it, that one. Okay. Means whenever it is happening infinite loop, okay, those type of scenarios, timeout on resources, it will be activated. Another thing is zero divide exception. Okay, this is, zero divide exception, it will get it. Suppose if you are trying to divide any value by zero, infinite, right? That is the exception. So as a zero divide exception. Okay. Infinite, we cannot Oracle cannot understand. So that's why it will give zero divide exception. Login denied. You saw many times this one, right? Logon denied. When username and password are not valid, a wrong username or wrong password if you are giving, those type of scenario, multiple times if you are giving those type of scenario. Suppose login denied happening. That when username and password are not valid. Okay. Program error. It occurs when internal PL/SQL error happens. This is also occasionally, but not every time. Sometimes this exception will happen. When others then is the exception. Actually, we have to tell about when others exception at the last. But in your case, first exception, I explained you when others only. Did you remember? When others exception? I explained or not? Any idea? When others exception, I explained when we discussed about the named block, anonymous block, that syntax, we are talking about the syntax only. I told exception is a optional. At the time, it is in the beginning and between, before and exception handler is there. So, for example, I told that one. When others then exception in the exception handling section. If you want, you can see old named block or PL/SQL block introduction part. If you are seeing, you will get to know that when others then exception I explained. But only thing is not detail level, just I handled there when others exception. But when others is the last exception. While writing, if you are handling the exceptions, all the exceptions, last, if you don't know the exception name, then you have to, if you don't know even first or last, not a matter. If you don't know about what is the exception, it will be happen, then just blindly you can go and define the, just handle the when others. Anything it is happening, it will come to when other section, handling exception handling section, and it will handle the when others. It will handle any type of error, runtime error. But only thing is, we should not write this exception in between the exceptions or first exception or in between the exceptions. It should be last exception. You should have to handle it is a last exception. After this exception, just end block only. You have to end the block. After that, nothing should be there. Okay. Okay. Generally, because which exception we don't know, those type of scenarios, we will get a SQL error code, SQL error code and error message, right? Those error code and error messages we will handle. While when others, then we will take those type of exceptions and insert into error log table, or you can display those things. Okay, yesterday we inserted an error log table, right? This SQL code in when others, usually we will insert SQL code. It will give the error number, SQL error message, it will give the error description. Yesterday I showed, right? No data found 01403. 01403 is the SQL code for the no data found exception. No data found is the, it came, right? It will give you error description. Okay. Default size is 512 bytes. That is the thing. Okay. Now we will see. Will you practice remaining exceptions? Can I give the examples? If you are trying better, here what I am doing, right? Okay, now just I added one more line. Yesterday we handled these two exceptions. Now another exception we are going to handle. Okay. So we'll see what is the exception that we get. Expected. Give a space between where and D pit number, line number 6. It's good.